life, for another day that you've given to us. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, to have fellowship and have a meal with other Navy leaders and guests and talk about the Sea Cadets and what a wonderful program that is. Father, we are mindful that there are men and women that wear the uniform of our country, that stand guard all across the globe, and we pray that even now that you would provide safety and protection for them. Would you equip them, give them everything that they need to accomplish their task. Father, would you continue to bless us in our country, our leadership. Father, even as our council seeks to educate and to tell the community about the need for the sea services and the importance of our sea services. Just pray that you would give us your wisdom as we go forward. It's in your gracious name that we pray. Amen. Amen. Okay, Cadet Pierre is going to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Be seated. All right, I know that we have a lot of guests here today, so fairly quickly I'm going to go around the room here. The Navy League is a civilian organization that supports the sea services, educates the public as well as Congress about the sea services and the need for the sea services, and also advocates in Congress and local leaders as well about the need for our sea services. So I'll just tell you, we had a board meeting last week. It lasted 4.5 hours, which was amazing. Board members were just wonderful. But we talked about a lot of things, a lot of activities, a lot of plans for the future, a lot of things going on. So there's plenty of places to join and get involved and be a part of the mission that we have at the Navy League. So if you're interested, if you know of somebody that may be interested in joining, there are applications and pamphlets that have information on it on your table. The Navy League Dallas Council has gone live with some social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All right, if you'll just search Dallas Navy League, you'll find the posts on any of those platforms. It's early on, so we need some likes and we need some followers. And if you don't know what that is, ask your grandkids or somebody that's under 30 what it means to like or to follow somebody. But get on there and do that, because it's a great place to put announcements, to get people involved, to get exposure to what the Navy League is doing.
I talk loud so I don't get in the fight.
And let me tell you this, that 4.5 hour board meeting the other night that we had, we spent a good deal of time talking about National Convention. And I can tell you that the Dallas Council is excited about having you guys come down here and Dallas being the host of the convention. And we do have lots of ideas. We got a lot of people willing to help, willing to provide whatever you need. So we're on board. And when you talk about doing fun things, having some great meetings, accomplishing the business of the Navy League, but having other things that are fun and that wives or families want to do, younger people, everybody at every age of the Navy League, we can offer that in Dallas.
Petty Officer Pierre, kind of step back a little bit, and Erwin. And you actually are a petty officer with the League Cadets.
And how old are you? See, she's 12 years old.
She's 12 years old. So I'm going to turn it over to Pat, and she's going to call down her cadet.
Okay. Yes, my cadet is fairly new at this unit, and actually he did 2 trainings this year. He did them 1 week apart, so he got his work in for him. So Colton Carter, come on down. He's with the Admiral William F. Halsey Battalion, which I am the commanding officer over. Actually, what these cadets are going to do, we're going to give them a chance to talk a little bit about what they did over the summertime. So, who do you want to start with?
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start with Barrison. So, I'm going to turn the mic over to you. We'll try to keep it down to like
we did some water trainings to where you save people, and we learned how to use a fire hose. And at field ops, we learned all the basic field operations, and we did some rough marches. And I hope that in the future I can go to the Naval Academy.
And what else do you want to do? What do you want to do if you go to the Naval Academy? What do you want to do in the Navy?
In the Navy, I would hope to be a pilot, naval aviator.
Yeah, pilots in the Marine Corps too, by the way.
Come on.
All right, so I'm gonna walk over into this one.
Huh?
This paper then?
Yeah, it's on. Just go ahead.
All right, so first and foremost, I'd like to thank you all for coming here. And starting off, I've been in the Naval Sea Cadets for about 5 years now. There's an interesting story behind this. You know, I was just sitting, chilling, you know, living my best life, and then my mom walks in and is like, "You're gonna be in the Sea Cadets," and I'm like, "What's that?" And then she's like, "It's a military program," and I was like, "Ah, okay, whatever." And then the next day, she's like, waking me up at, I don't know what, 5 o'clock? I'm like, "What are you doing? I'm getting my sleep." And then she's like, "All right, get dressed. You're in the Sea Cadets." And then that was like my first drill. I think it was on the USS Lexington. We had an overnight drill there. Unfortunately, they had no AC, so it's kind of hot. I mean, it's a carrier with no AC in the barracks, so it was a little bit hot there. But anyway, so then I was like, all right, you know, I was expecting to, you know, be marching for the next 50 minutes, you know. I heard military program, and I was like, boarding school, something like that, right? But it wasn't like that, you know. It was different, you know. I think it was even, I had to take the BMR for, like, you had to take the BMR to get your uniform, right? And I was like, so if I don't pass this, then I'm not in the program, right? Apparently, you just don't get your uniform, right? And I was like, oh, all right. And then as time went on, I was able to grow more and more, you know, fond of the program, and I've built memories here, had friends here, all that stuff. And it's been one of those things that if I weren't a Sea Cadet, I think my life would be a lot more different. You know, you walk around as a more confident person, you know? There's many situations where I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a Sea Cadet. Let's go. I got it. You know, and I feel like without this, I wouldn't have that much discipline, you know? Waking up for school every day at 6, I'm a senior, right? So I should have my senior benefits. I got late arrival and early release. But my dad works at the same school, so I don't get those benefits. I got to wake up at 6 to go to school that starts at 9:20. True, but I need my beauty sleep, you know? I got to get my sleep. For trainings, I've been to several trainings, but this summer, or last summer rather, we went to airman training, which is here in Forrestal, not Forrestal, but NAS Forward GRB base. So I heard airman training, I'm like, shoot, they're gonna let us get near planes? Man, that's nice. We were able to go to the T line, which is, I think it's like called tow line, but we just call it T line. Where you're transit
line.
Transit line. So we got to, or I got to rather, because I was the only one there in that group. I got to sit next to the runway in a car with some earmuffs on that kind of did nothing because these jets are so stupid loud. The F-35 took off, and I felt like my eardrums were going to get ripped off. And it's kind of very, it puts you in a state of awe to see something that's built out of metal actually take off of the ground. And you're like, that thing flies? Like how? It's got wings, engine. It's made out of metal. Shouldn't that thing just drop out the air? Shouldn't even get in the air in the first place, you may think. But we got to see that take off. I think I got to see more than 3. I got to see some F-16s that the Air Force has out there. One of them, I think it was their mascot plane. It had like had painted on it the Texas flag or something like that. I was like, that's cool. Came by and like, he didn't buzz the tower, but he was like decently close. But he was like over there. He did a little loop and then came in and landed. And I was like, that's cool. That should be me one day, right? So that's another thing that I want to do in the future is being a fighter pilot for the military, preferably the Navy. You know, they got good stuff over there. Landing on an aircraft carrier sounds a little bit difficult.
Where'd you go to boot camp at?
Boot camp, I went to, shoot, how long ago was that? 4 years ago, I think. I went to boot camp in Marseilles, Illinois, right? It was during the winter. We had PRT that we had to do. It was ice, and then we were running. I think one of them slipped on the ice, but it was all good. They were fine, but that's where I went to RT at.
What other training did you do?
I've gone to
You got 2 more minutes.
POLA, vehicle maintenance. What's the other one? Yeah, it's been a long time. POLA is Petty Officer Leadership Academy. It's where you go to learn more about leadership skills, more about how to best lead the people who are going to be under your command. Because it's hard to lead someone if you don't know what you're doing. I'm pretty sure we can all attest to that. It's pretty difficult to do something if you don't know what you're doing. So that's what we were able to do there. You know, they said, all right, this isn't going to be a death PowerPoint session, like they use it, because sometimes you just sit there and just go through slides. All right, next one, slide. Yeah, that's it. But our polo was a lot more interactive. We got to, I think they even had some correctional officers from someplace come over, and then they got to teach us all about stuff like that. And vehicle maintenance that I did in Michigan, we got to work on the Humvees and all that stuff that they had over there at the Army. You know, they said you might want to put some gloves on, and I was like, who needs gloves? We're good. Grease got on my hands, stayed there for 3 weeks. That thing would not come out. I washed my hands like 4 times in a row with some salt. I rubbed it real good, and it just did not want to come out. I'm like, all right, this is hopeless. I should have just put gloves on. But because I saw them not using gloves, and I was like, why should I then? But,
Okay, time's up.
thank you.
Thank you.
Need my paper.
This is for Mr. Saunders. Actually, I think he's going to be a good DI in the Marine Corps. Listen.
Which one do you want?
Anyone you want, whichever one you want, whichever one you want to do.
I don't think I need this.
Yeah.
Ah!
What do you think? What do you think? Okay.
Okay.
He was one of our lead petty officers at airman training, and boy, you could hear him all over the whole base. I mean, he was awesome. He's got one of those voices. Yes, he does.
I've been in Sea Cadet since about, I would say, mid 2021, and even with the short amount of time I've been in Sea Cadets, I could already see like all of the benefits and changes it's made in my life for the good, especially whenever it comes to discipline and confidence, and just overall being able to walk into a situation and already know, like, okay, I don't have to be nervous about this, even if my friends don't understand the military aspect of things.
So tell them some of the trainings that you've been to this year. You didn't go to any trainings at all? Okay. You've not been to one training yet, right?
I have.
Okay, well talk about the one training that you went to.
The summer before last, I went to California for League Cadet orientation. I spent a week in the mountains in Northern California. To me, it was freezing, but it was really only 80 degrees outside. We learned a lot of valuable skills, mainly how to act as a Sea Cadet and other pieces of valuable information, like how to put on your uniform correctly. And like our phonetic alphabet and just primal things that you need to know as a Sea Cadet.
Okay, tell them what you would like to do.
Once I get older and I graduate, I would like to go into the Army Academy and be a Ranger. Because water makes me seasick. So
she's just telling the truth. That's all.
Yeah, Navy and Marines would probably not be the best option for me.
What school do you go to? And
I go to Wayside Middle School in Fort Worth, Saginaw area, and I'm in 7th grade. So there's not a whole lot to do at my school. It's very small, and we have to get a new school because our school was built almost 80 years ago. So it's falling apart, but it's still a good school.
Thank you.
My name is Colton Carter. I'd like to thank you all for the opportunity to speak today. It means a lot to me. I'd also like to thank both of the fields for giving me amazing opportunity within the program. I've been in for less than a year. It'll be 1 year in February, and I've done amazing, and I wouldn't be without them. I thank them a lot for what they've done. Some trainings I've been to has been boot camp and airmen here. So boot camp was very interesting. In South Texas. It was hot. It was hot. Hot. I remember waking up early. It was early. I can't remember what time. It was early. I remember making my rack almost perfection, mouse quarter off it, pulling up my blanket perfectly. I remember I strive to be the first one on the tow line every morning. That never happened. But we still made it there. But did PT. Someone was talking to me the whole time saying, "I gotta eat." It's fun times. But in closing, I'd like to thank you all for letting me speak today, and fields again for an amazing opportunity.
What school do you go to?
I'm
what do you want to do after you graduate?
so I'm currently homeschooled, high school. So it's my freshman. So a few days into that, it's fun, sure. But I do want to go be a CB. Once I finish up high school. So I'll be done in 2 years. Be good. But closing, thank you all again, for sure. And y'all have fun every day. Thank you.
Okay, is there any questions that anybody might have for any of the cadets or us about the Sea Cadet program? Yes.
Why did you decide to join the Sea Cadet?
I joined.
Come on up.
I joined the Sea Cadets because I was in Girl Scouts, but it wasn't something that ever fit me, like all the pink and the unicorns and everything. And then once I found out about Sea Cadets, I realized it's more of a place for me, and it's something that could I could get a lot of benefits from in the future.
Tell them that we put all those interviews on YouTube.
I know. So,
Tell them who you are, Mr. Blythe.
okay, hang on. I think everybody's introduced that they've actually joined our unit. I'm really looking forward to them joining the unit. Well, on Saturday and Sunday, we do some things at the airman training because all the shops are closed. So we end up we actually go to a rodeo, and we went swimming, we went bowling, we did a few things like that. But also, he had offered this at the Navy League meeting to be invited to come out when there was time to be able to do that. So he did, and this is what happened.
Sometimes Howard gets a little long-winded, so we're going to turn over here to Mr. Blythe.
What's worse is you take a radio personality and hand him a microphone. Stand by for high winds and heavy seas. We were invited to go and interview. We thought we were going to interview 2 or 3 kids. We interviewed about 20 some odd kids, and on our site, YouTube site, the Veterans Impact Show, we put all of those. We edited it. We put all of them, about 20 Sea Cadets, and it was amazing. And we walked away saying, we want to do more. And then one of the things that Howard and Billy told us is, well, Sea Cadets, so many people don't know about them. I go, that's true. What can we do? And Diane and I have had a radio show since 2015. We've changed it to be really more focused on continuing the mission. And I can't think of a more important mission than what Navy League and what Sea Cadets interaction does.
And so we've decided to join so that we can go every month and we can film, we can interview, we can talk about all and show all of these wonderful things these wonderful young men and women are doing. These are not kids. These are young men and women, and we were amazed. And so we're going to be doing every month, and we would love for you guys to go to the Veterans Impact Show and subscribe.
Okay, I want to actually surprise somebody that they don't know that I want to do this. So I'm going to invite Captain Jones up.
U.S. and Puerto Rico. What that means is I'm responsible for everything that happens out in the field, we call it. So we used to be called field reps, now we're called area commanders. So my job is to go out and make sure that all these cadets are being trained properly. They're following all the rules they're supposed to be following. We've got our 2 deep leadership, so we don't end up having problems like the Boy Scouts had years ago. We don't want any of that. This is a very well-run program. I was a Sea Cadet as a kid back in the 70s before I went in the Navy. It helped me out immensely. And that's why as soon as I retired, 38 years later, I decided to go back and work with Sea Cadets again. And it brings it's a lot of pride to me when I see these kids turn. So I was a CO when I first got out. I was a CO of a unit. Like Howard's a CO of a unit here. I was a CO of a unit down in Corpus. Started that unit up. And just watching the kids change. So they come in. They all come in one way. They never come in the same. They all come in different things, right? Different backgrounds. But within a few drills, they just click. And you just watch it. You just see it happen. And it's just amazing how much these kids' lives change through this program. And like I said, it happened to me when I was a kid, and that's why I'm back, because it just made a huge difference in my career. And it makes a huge difference in their lives, whether they go in the military or not. But again, what my job is to do is make sure that we're operating the system properly. If I see things that aren't right, try to change things at a national level so we can do them right. The biggest problem we're having now is communication, as we discussed here, and headquarters is trying to work that as hard as they can, but it takes a lot of money to get it out on a national level, right? So we had a radio show up in Springfield, Missouri last month. Similar thing, they interviewed a bunch of people and they've been putting stuff out. There's so much going on, but it's little pockets, right? And even if you put it on social media, it's not gonna show up on everybody's social media because they've got to follow it, they got to do something. So we've got to figure out how to get, I would love for, when you say Boy Scouts, everybody knows what that is. So as an example, I was in Mobile, Alabama in June, same kind of a similar event, but they were recognizing all the military in the area, including the ROTCs and the Sea Cadet unit. So they announced the Sea Cadet unit. There's 300 people in the audience. So I got up to speak and I said, hey, how many of you ever heard of Sea Cadets? I got like 10 hands. I mean, and that's people that are working with the military and working with youth organizations. So we have a lot of people down in the Austin area that are both junior ROTC and Sea Cadets because they both bring different things to the table. The greatest thing about the Sea Cadet program is you actually get to put your hands on things. You actually get to do with real things. Like we just sent a group of kids from St. Louis to Norfolk and to DC to go tour ships and submarines. And oh my God, some of these kids had never even seen the ocean, right? But they were just so amazed. And you could just tell after that experience it's something that they want to do, right? And so a big part of this is now they don't have to go in the military, but the Navy pays our grant, all right? They pay our grant because they know they're going to get people and good people into the Navy. I don't know any Sea Cadet that ever went into the Navy, whether enlisted or officer, went through the other that didn't do well. So every year we send 12% of our graduating seniors to one of the academies in the country. That's, to me, that's a significant amount of people. And that's just from going through this program. And like I tell people when they go to interview for the academy, I go, wear your uniform. Well, why do I want to wear my uniform? I say, because right there you're going to beat out everybody else that came through that door that day. You're going to show up in your uniform, you're going to look squared away. They're going to know you already have a military mindset, that you've already checked off half the blocks just by showing up in your uniform and presenting yourself and being respectful. So that's the biggest thing I find today is the kids aren't respectful like they used to be. And I think y'all know that. But this group of kids, they are. And I've got to say, every young Marines, junior ROTCs, same thing. They're Civil Air Patrol, they're all great programs. They teach discipline, they teach respect. And we really need a lot of that in this country. I mean, if you start to worry about how this country's going, You want to feel good about something? Go watch a drill. Go over to Fort Worth and watch them drill, or go to Dallas and watch them drill, because you're going to feel a lot better about the country and yourself. So we got to keep these kind of programs going. So like I said, it's my job to keep us out of the news in a bad way, right? And to make sure that where we see pockets of greatness, that we spread that greatness throughout. So that's the ability of being able to move around all the states that I do, to be able to spread it. Because like as a CO, you get microscoped into your unit. You know, you're just focused on your unit, and it takes a lot of energy to keep your unit doing the right things. So as you move up in the chain, you get to see it at a bigger picture, right? So everyone looks at it through a different lens as they look at the program. The cadets look at it different than the adults look at it. But this is an all-volunteer organization from the regional director level and down. And it's amazing how many years a lot of these people have put into this organization. Obviously, they don't have kids in it. They probably don't even have grandkids in it, some of them. And they do an amazing job with these kids. So it's all about just finding the people that can work with kids. And then volunteers, right? So it's a challenge in two ways. You're not paying them. They don't have to show up. They should. I mean, once you say you're going to do something, as far as I'm concerned, the volunteer part's over. But same thing. But they do great, amazing things, and they don't get enough credit. They don't get enough stuff done from them. Our hands get tied with the way the grant's written for the program. We can only spend grant money on cadet training. So if you can't tie it to cadet training, we can't spend the money on it. They won't pay for travel for the cadets to get from where they live to the training. So that's another onerous thing for the parents. The parents have to pay to get the kid to the training. So another thing we're trying to do here, we're just really looking to the future. Admiral Lennon's been a fantastic leader in the last year to get us to move forward and get out of the 20th century and move into the 21st century. And we're going to try and make sure that we're getting more trainings to more parts of the country so people don't have to travel so far. So in the past, there's been like pockets of, we did too many RTs in this area. We did too many airman trainings over here, but they're 3,000 miles apart. We tend to do a lot of stuff on the coast. Well, we need to be able to move that stuff inland as much as we can. And then if we can do that, we might have more money so that we can convince the Navy that we need to pay to get these people from the Midwest and from central United States out to the coast so they can see the ocean, see these ships, possibly even ride on one of the ships. So we're trying to get back into that. So when I was in Sea Cadets in the 70s, my training was 1 month aboard the Enterprise and 1 month at a Coast Guard station. And I just got dropped off at both places. Here, you're a Sea Cadet. This Coast Guard guy's going to take care of you for the next month. They put me in the barracks. And they tried to treat me like a regular Coast Guard guy. They're like, hey, we're going out tonight. I'm like, I'm only 16. I'm not going. Okay.
Did you really say that?
Yeah, I did. I wasn't one of those drinking kind of guys when I was a youngster. But great experience, but at the same time, it could have been better because you just got put with whoever you got put with. So we try to make sure that when we do these trainings, especially Howard's training, Howard's got the benchmark training for airmen in the whole Corps. So they're looking to him to figure out how to do that in other places. So to replicate it. Yeah, he does an outstanding job. So I don't want to take any more time. He looks like he's hovering about ready to get the hook. So I appreciate everything. The Navy League, like I said before, we can't do without the Navy League. And we need your continued support. So I thank you for that. And I look forward to working with you in the future. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. Let me ask the Sea Cadets right quick to come back up. We're going to take some pictures, and we have a couple things for you. As they're coming, let me just say a couple things. Thank you as you see these young people, I don't know if you're like me, but you see them in their uniform, you hear them speak, and it warms your heart, gives you confidence about the future generations that we've got, the leadership that you're providing. It takes a lot of people to do that. To the commanders, to Billy and Pat and Howard and the Blythes, Jim, to all of you, thank you for what you do for pouring into the lives of these young people. To the parents, we know that this is a commitment, it's a sacrifice, it's something that you do as a family. So thank you to the parents for all you do. And then to you folks, we've got something just to say thank you. Got a challenge coin. Okay, you've been given a challenge coin. Okay, there you go. Thank you. Appreciate what you do. Keep up the good work. Study hard in school. Keep your grades up. Okay, listen to your leaders. Okay, learn from them. But more importantly, continue to be leaders. Okay, do it. Took on us. Just a note of appreciation for being here and for all you do. Okay? One more round of applause for all the speakers. Well, that's it. Okay. Unless there's something else, we're going to adjourn. We're a little bit over time. Thank you for all of you for coming. We'll see you in September. Watch social media, website, email for the meeting announcement for September. Stay cool. Maybe we'll get some more rain. Thank you for all you're doing. Invite others to be a part of what we're doing. And unless there's something else, then we're going to be adjourned. We're adjourned. Okay.